We are back, and I'm getting right to it. I'm cutting into sandwiches,
and we've got a special guest.
We do.
This is a very special
Mr. PizzaBabble himself.
Three Lawyers Eating Sandwiches. It is. This is Andrew Taylor. Andy Taylor, not from the Andy Griffith Show, but the same name.
No. You don't own Enterprise, do you?
No.
Okay.
It's a popular name.
Then what the hell is he doing here?
What are we talking to this
No,
guy?
that's right. He's not in Duran Duran. You know what? He's more important than any of those people that you mentioned because he is PizzaBabble, which is one of the hottest Instagram pages, also on TikTok, but I think Instagram, right?
Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
The main. And PizzaBabble, for those that don't know, although it's not that hard to figure out, but you can tell them. You've been to every pizza place or just about. That's your quest. You tried them all.
That's my quest. And you think that it's easy. Like, there's not that many pizza places in St. Louis. I have covered 117 pizza places.
117. You know why? Because I was watching your stuff earlier. Was I prepping for this big guest?
And then you got hungry.
I did. I'm starving. But I was prepping and, because there are pizza places and then there's a lot of restaurants that happen to also have pizza on their menu and you're hitting those too.
Yep.
So, and this, while
we're going to take a bite of a meatball sandwich from
Tony Bono's.
Is this from Bono's?
This is all Tony Bono's.
Yes. Okay.
I have never been to Tony Bono's.
I haven't either, but it's
every
on the
single
list.
thing that I eat is going to be for the first time.
Yeah. So let's take a bite of the meatballs.
We always start with the meatballs to cleanse our palate.
Once again,
that's what a meatball sandwich
like
should be.
Every other meatball sandwich is great.
That's damn good. Well,
Not true.
Could you pass me a little paper?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, our rule
We have
is
a rule.
if a place has a meatball sandwich, we get it. I feel like I don't want to miss a good meatball sandwich.
That's true. That would be tragic because
You got to have ways, rules to live by. A code of
it's
conduct.
the ultimate
Are
comfort
we animals?
sandwich.
Yeah, what are we with
That's
that?
how I am now. I'm like, if it's a restaurant that has pizza, I have to get it.
Let me ask you this. Do you ever eat pizza when you're not filming? Or if you're like, you know what? If I'm eating pizza, I'm filming.
Usually it's leftovers.
You don't have time probably to eat pizza without filming it at a restaurant.
No, it's just been...
Unless you're going back, I guess.
Yeah, because I have a list of places that I've been to that I've had their pizza, and I look at the menu, I'm like, oh man, I kind of wanted to try their sandwich or their wings or something, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to put them on a list because I got to go back and showcase, hey, they got great pizza, but they also have this.
So this is like a real job.
I wish.
No, you have a job. And
what do
last
you do?
I looked online, you were at Barnes.
Yep.
So you didn't do your research ahead of time?
No,
This
I
guy
would've-
does sterilization.
Let me
Yep.
ask you a question.
Wait, you do what?
So I am a sterile processing tech, which means
Okay.
I take all the bloody instruments that we use in surgery, I wash them, I assemble it, I sterilize it.
Do you do what are those,
Spits on 'em.
autoclaves or?
Yep.
Yeah.
We use autoclaves.
Here, you know what I'll do? Since it's pizza, I'll just pass it around. You can take a
Okay.
slice.
Let me
All
ask
right,
you
well-
a question about you're on Instagram, correct?
God.
How many
Grab a
followers do you
slice of
have?
that.
It's got a lot.
I think it's about 23,000.
No,
No, more than that.
altogether, it's on Instagram. It's only about like 1,300.
Okay.
Instagram is very difficult to get.
1,300?
Take a
Yeah.
slice. Maybe it was
But
Facebook I was thinking about.
TikTok, I've got about 30-something thousand, and then Facebook, I think I have
take a
24,000.
Okay.
I think
That's what-
Instagram is
that
Instagram is always
that was
the
the
more
one I was
difficult one I
looking
think to
at.
get followers.
YouTube?
Good. What are you
Not
doing?
yet. I
said
do
this
have a
is the
YouTube.
one.
No,
I
I was
need to
talking. I
start.
was responding to him.
Oh.
Need to start
Hold
putting
on.
some stuff
And I
on
wasn't
there.
telling you to touch all the pieces.
I tried to be kind. And this is what I got.
That's what happened.
Has Dave
etiquette.
Portnoy become the greatest, most prolific, biggest food reviewer of all time now?
I think so. I
gotta
gotta
be,
an
right?
inspiration. I mean, that had to be a little part of
A
it.
little bit. My inspiration was just because I would see people do sandwiches in St. Louis, even before you guys. I mean, because there's so many sandwiches in St. Louis, and I wish I remembered the Instagram. You guys have probably seen it. He brings a sandwich from a St. Louis pizza or a St. Louis place, and he'll do perfect photos of the sandwich with like a nice background and everything, right? Nice lighting. And I'm like, wow, he's showcasing sandwiches. I'm like, what if I can showcase the pizzas? And I realized nobody else is doing it in St. Louis. There's a pizza guy in Chicago and New York, Jersey.
Right.
There's plenty of them.
No, I think it was a smart move.
Nothing in St. Louis.
Because I think up until not long ago, we were thought of as sort of a one-trick pony when it came to pizza. There was Emo's, and then there were sort of the Emo's-like places like Cecil Whitaker's and Alicia's. I mean, those are different and unique for sure, but same style. But there is a large variety of pizza here, and I didn't realize until recently this sort of North County sheet pan pizza that's been around for ever.
It's pretty much the oldest of St. Louis style. So
we got to
break
get
down,
into a discussion on that.
Yeah, I break down St. Louis style in 3 different categories.
Let's hear it.
So Emo's is kind of like one category where it's kind of like a frozen crust. A lot of the chains, that's how they use it. It's all kind of the same.
Sometimes it's like, honestly, I think a tortilla.
Yeah. Then you get another version where it's Failoni's, Uncle Leo's. That's a nicer pizza where the crust isn't fresh. They par bake it. They'll bake the crust for like a minute or 2 just to keep its shell. They usually do that in the morning or the night
I got to stop you for a second. I noticed you ate a whole piece of pizza.
It was delicious.
It is. You've got to exercise some discipline because we have an enormous.
We do. We have like 8 pizzas.
This is a marathon.
And I would like you to try. Have you had this exact one?
I'm sorry.
This
go ahead.
I thought was great, and I'd like to hear. Like I'm detecting a little something in there. I don't know if you guys.
I see a mushroom on it. I will eat mushrooms today, but I'm not a mushroom guy.
Right.
Or olives.
Well, I really like that one.
Tony's.
Now, Tony must have multiple types of crust, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
What would you call, I mean, this is not cut to a square, but would you put this style in the Emo's sort of category, or is this more like a Chicago kind of tavern style pizza?
More Chicago tavern. So the 3 different categories was Emo's. Next one is the par bake ones. The third one is your North County pizza places.
Okay.
And it's like if you've never had it, it throws you off because it's like this isn't a square, this isn't a circle, it's a rectangle.
Yeah. But very homemade looking.
Very homemade looking because most of them really are. It's like fresh dough. And usually you can tell because you see those little waves in the crust.
Yeah.
Because if it's like a frozen crust, it's just kind of flat.
I like that. That's a really good sauce.
So do the ones where does anybody
Jen,
just start
take
from
this one
scratch?
You guys may want to try, but just to create some space.
Does anybody
Brody,
just
that's
take
just cheese.
make
You might
dough
like that.
Absolutely.
and take a little bit of dough, flatten it out, and what is that called?
Well, I think that's.
I mean,
a
does
lot of
anybody do
places.
that, and that's how you get your pizza?
Sure, I
They
think the
don't put it
North
in the
County
refrigerator?
places, I suspect those are homemade doughs, flattened out, they're sheet pan.
But they're making it when I've ordered it. I'm getting
They're not making, the dough is already made because you have to make that ahead. No one does anywhere.
No, does anybody just
Dough has
take
to
some
rise,
dough, flatten it out, spin it around till
almost
it
everybody.
yeah.
Usually that's
still the norm.
New York style.
Yeah. But even
Braccanelli's does
I mean,
that.
you
La
can't
Pizza does that.
spin it around.
Dewey's does that.
But the North County places, what are the 2 big ones? Isn't it
Oh man, you got a couple.
Montebello's and
Technically
Faraci?
not Montebello's.
No?
Because they're actually south from here.
Okay.
So your big ones and ironically, I think they're all kind of related too. You've got.
But that's how New York City pizza is too. You'll see these family trees.
You got Angelo's, Faraci's, Nick and Elena's, Sarah's. All of them are. I had a paper and it had them all. This is a cousin to this one. This is a brother-in-law to this one. So they're all somewhat related.
But they're taking a homemade dough, spreading it out on a pan. I mean, Dewey's, I'm sure, makes their own dough. I'm sure this place
in the window.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you. Yeah. You're right. They do mix it up and make their own dough. Yeah, I would think very common.
Because they'll tell you like, oh, it's like 14 inches, but like you look at it like it may be 13 and a half, 15.
Like Domino's.
Because they can't. It's it's fresh. They can't just.
Right. They're getting it from a commissary, but most pizza places, I would think you'd cut into your margins if you're not making your own dough. Now, there are a lot of places who buy pre-made crusts, and that's a different thing.
But why even bother? I mean, if you can't have good pizza, why have it at all?
I have no problem with like pre-made crust. Usually it's like bar pizza.
This is a very heavy pizza.
That's
And I did it again too. I ate another full slice. I got to stop that. I'm running out of steam.
That is Chicago style. I told you got to be really.
All right. You got
Oh my God! Did you eat another full piece?
I did. I took the smallest one, but I ate the whole thing.
Too.
Yeah, I did. I ate your whole
What
plate.
cities are known for their pizza? So I've heard of a Chicago-style pizza.
So Chicago has Chicago deep dish, and their Chicagoans are pushing that they don't want to be known for the deep dish.
The tavern style.
They want to be known for their tavern style,
which is really not far from Emo's.
No. So a lot of people don't realize this. The guy who came down from Chicago to open the first pizza place in St. Louis was from Chicago, and he brought that, cut it into squares.
Yeah.
So that all comes from Chicago.
So it pisses them off that we've kind of claimed that as our style.
No, because it's like how we look on the Cubs. It's like, you guys got your own thing. You're okay. Yeah.
I just want you to know I'm switching knives.
Okay.
I think
what's New York style pizza?
That's hand tossed.
That's a good, stretched out hand toss.
Yeah, it's a hand toss.
But Chicago Tavern, people say it's different. And then, of course, you have
Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
What's Detroit?
Detroit is
it's what New Yorkers might have called Sicilian pizza.
Yes.
It's a focaccia crust.
Sort of, and then they're baked in these very specific
I did an Ed versus pizza. I covered the Detroit
burnt
pizza.
Cheese around the edge.
You do the sauce goes on first. I mean, the cheese goes on first. The sauce goes on top, which is very similar to how that is, but it's done in 3 lines down the pizza, like in lines.
I like it, but man, it's
very filling.
I just make a mess.
What is it? Motor City Pizza or Moto City Pizza? It's right there in Richmond Heights.
There's a place, a very famous place.
It's Richmond Heights.
In Telluride, Colorado, where we go, called Brown Dog Pizza. That is people from Detroit. And what I learned was it's not just the style.
Those are enormous.
They use
I don't
these
know I don't even know how I'm going to attack that. I don't have a plan on a strategy.
They're like specific pans that were made with metal during the auto manufacture. It's still that they get from 50s or 60s that don't even exist anymore. That they'll tell you if it's not made with those, it's not even Detroit style.
So wait, is pizza then generally Middle America and Eastern America? I haven't heard much Western pizza. Is there California?
Really?
Well, I mean, there's California Pizza Kitchen, which
seem
to have a lot of fresh ingredients and maybe different, but the style of the pizza itself, I don't think is any different.
And honestly, majority of pizza is just a different style of crust. Maybe a different style of cheese.
Is it the crust or the toppings and the sauce? There's, I guess, 3 elements in a pizza, right?
Yeah, so for St. Louis style, the bare minimum, as I would say, St. Louis style is crispy, thin crust pizza, cut into squares, Provel cheese.
Do they use Provel any place outside of St. Louis?
No.
A few places here and there. I know in Sandusky, Ohio, there's a place called Archie's Pizza that does St. Louis style because they're from St. Louis.
Yeah, they're emulating.
So there's a few little places here and there, but not big. And I think it's just because Provel can be very expensive.
And you should also know in the history of pizza, there's a reason why Detroit has a style and there's the Midwest and you have New York, is the origins, actual pizza, for most of this country, you can only get it in New York until the mid-'60s. Till the 1960s, most Americans had never heard of pizza, didn't know what it was, never tried it. The
60s, did you say?
The 60s, because the first sit-down pizza that existed in the country was Pizza Hut, which came out of Wichita, Kansas. And the first widespread delivery pizza was Domino's, which was on this campus of Michigan State up in Lansing, Michigan. So there are roots there, logical roots in this country that your pizza triangle would be New York, Michigan, and Kansas, Missouri, whatever.
But aren't the New York pizza places? Some of those are from the Depression era.
They do. They go way back because they were getting it from Italy. When the 2 brothers started Pizza Hut, they had never even tried pizza. They only read about it, and they thought this would be a very inexpensive thing with high margins that we could sell, and nobody would know any better because they've never had it before.
Now, you may think I'm being a snob.
Because you're the expert. I don't want to speak for you, but if I'm saying anything that's inaccurate, please correct me.
No, you good.
I'm impressed with their breadth of pizza. All 3 crusts were very good. I was very surprised.
I think the last time I went, we've got it was like a margarita pizza, but I was blown away. Their pasta was good.
Yeah,
their wings, which I like when you oversauce wings. I like when you oversauce wings.
I don't have a problem with it.
Because then you take the pizza, you take your breadsticks, and you dip it in.
Did you detect a little bit of wing sauce in that very first slice? That first slice that had everything on there.
Unique flavor.
I thought it was either Frank's Red Hot or a little bit of wing sauce was,
Would you mind
was
grabbing
blended
these,
in.
somebody?
I don't have that.
Get these out
Look
of the
up
way.
the ingredients on that first pizza that we had, the Bono special.
When I,
It has their wing sauce.
when I was
There you go.
Thank you.
You heard him.
You're talking about a palate. There are people out there, Somalis with the wine and whatever.
Yeah.
That's my palate with pizza.
You know, my daughter is obsessed with margarita pizza, which is hard to get a true margarita pizza anywhere.
Where's your best margarita pizza here in San Luis?
Louis?
Hold on, let me.
That's the challenge of eating during a podcast. You ask the question at the wrong time, is what happens.
My favorite has probably been.
Like a true margarita.
Usually when I get a margarita, I want it to be like a Neapolitan style pizza.
Yeah.
So Bordeaux's Killer Pizza.
Bordeaux's has very good pizza.
Very good pizza.
Do they have a shop or is it only at the Foundry?
Only at the Foundry.
That's shocking because they really, that's some of the, I mean, you have to put them up there as some of the best pizza in town.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of a little stand in a food court.
Mm-hmm.
They should, I mean, that feels like they could have a very substantial chain of pizza places.
I've had, I believe it was Pizzeria de Gloria. Mm-hmm. They're Neapolitan as well.
Also good.
We had an attorney dinner there. Have you had any bad experiences with any of the restaurants, either people not wanting you to do any kind of online video or people not happy with what you had to say about their pizza?
Not entirely. I try to stay positive as much as I can, but there's have been a few times where the pizza was not good. Now,
and will you say it?
Oh, yeah, I'll say it.
Okay.
I believe I'm trying to remember their name.
Give me another name.
Fortel's Pizza Den.
Yeah.
I had the pizza there. It was burnt on the bottom, raw toppings on top.
Wasn't that supposed to be real good?
Years and years ago.
Yeah. Usually when I say that, I have people like, oh, it's the best, this and that. And they'll say, oh, I used to go to this one all the time. I'm like, well, that one doesn't exist anymore.
You know, is that still a thing? I remember when I was a kid, everyone had the emos that they thought was the best emos. And I think there really at least was something to the
some
differences.
emos give you the option of mozzarella.
Yeah, and there is a reason why certain emos taste different.
What's the reason? We're breaking the lid off here.
Yeah. So from what I've been told is emos, because emos is such a big conglomerate company that it's a lot of franchises and stuff. So some have to go through these purchases for their ingredients. Some have to go.
There are different commissaries.
Different commissaries.
Oh, well.
At least that's what I've been told.
Huh.
But everyone has their favorite.
I know a guy who owns a company.
That seems crazy.
Some operation.
Let me ask you this.
This is their margarita pizza, just right? The one that we're about to eat?
What about Italy? Do they have great pizza? Because I went to a place in Rome
I haven't
that said it was the best pizza in Rome, and it was nothing special.
Well, it's a different style of pizza. Remember,
very thin, very thin.
But your palate, or not yours, the average American palate is very different than the average European palate. They're used to different flavors, less salt, less sugar. And so what may taste great to people whose palates are acclimated to it may not be an American's thing. The thing I wanted to ask you is, I've never been here. Ed, maybe you have. Is New Haven, Connecticut, to like Sally's a Pizza, those places? Because they always look really good, that charred crust.
Mystic Pizza, right? Isn't that where they filmed that? Up there?
I think that's in Mystic, Connecticut, but probably
Same
very
idea.
similar style.
I've had their pizza, but it was a frozen pizza.
Like through Gold Belly or something.
It was, my wife got it for me for my birthday. And they just tell you, throw it out, throw it in the oven for like 10 minutes. It's good.
Yeah.
But I know it can't be the same.
Of course it's not. When you have that
this
fresh
tastes very
char,
good to me.
it's great. Oh my God.
The seasonings in there
Have you eaten another whole piece?
I have.
Oh, this is going to be.
You guys not feed him or something?
Well, I'm just worried about him.
Well, I left work yesterday.
This is a marathon.
Intense nausea.
Oh.
He made a wonderful recovery,
My
and now
bounce back is insane.
he's dying to make himself feel that way again.
But as a result of my nausea yesterday, I didn't eat dinner. I didn't eat dinner, and then I haven't eaten anything today, so I saved up my whole appetite.
Is there an Italian place where pizza? I mean, is there a home of pizza? Is there a
Naples, I guess, right?
I've gotten to a point where I feel like I need to heat these to really.
But Naples, Italy, I think, is considered the origin
Is it?
for pizza. Yeah,
And for
because
pizza in St. Louis, we have certain places like, oh, this used to be where the first pizza place was, and this used to be where the first St. Louis style pizza place was.
now, did Frank and Helen's go out of business, or are they still in? They did.
Yeah.
Now that was a famous pizza place here in St. Louis. Did you have an opportunity to do them before they went down?
I didn't. When I was going to, it was like the last 2 weeks, and I
You
knew
could have saved them.
I wish I would have. At
Didn't we
that
go
time,
to
it really
dinner?
wasn't really
Didn't
known.
we go to dinner at Frank and Helen's? Yeah.
But they were packed.
It was too at that, so nobody could save them at that point.
No, I mean, they were packed with people the last 2 weeks.
I don't
but
know
it's
why
just-
I get nostalgic for places that I've never even been to. I just like the idea of a place that's been doing something for a really long time. It makes me sad when they close.
Yeah,
It always feels like an end of an era, even though I wasn't even part of that era. But I don't know. I'm weirdly nostalgic. like that.
Endings in everything are a bit sad.
They are. There's a sadness there.
I think I've had at least 3 or 4
It's
on my
because
list that I've been to
It's like death.
that has closed down.
It is a type of death.
Of course it is.
You know, it's a type of change. Change is uncomfortable. Talk to me about the pizzas that you've had here. I just want to know through your palate, through your eyes, where does this stuff rank? What's special here, and what needs improvement?
So Tony Bono's is on my top 10.
Yeah, okay. So this is top notch.
Oh,
It's top-notch.
you can tell. You go here and have this fresh.
You can have
It's great.
Do they
whatever
have
pizza
multiple
have,
stores?
and you're going to be.
Where are they? Where are they located?
They're on Hampton,
Okay.
Hampton Avenue.
We were just on Hampton. Well,
If there was
trying to think of what
a
it's near.
pizza tour you could do in St. Louis, because I've had people ask me like,
Of
"Oh, you should do
course.
a pizza tour."
Probably every day.
It's just it's all scattered. It's hard. There's
Get
no
a party bus.
I've thought about that, but if there was a place to do a pizza tour in St. Louis, it would be Hampton Avenue,
okay.
because when you start at the very top, you've got that Emo's right there on Hampton. I think that's the most famous Emo's.
And the best.
When you go down, I think 5 miles, within 5 miles, just on the street itself, 12 pizza places.
Maybe we should
Name 'em.
cooperative
fun.
effort between Three Lords Eating
Actually, I
Sandwiches
could
and
probably
Pizza
name 'em.
Babble. We get Jeremy's RV, we load it up, and we do the pizza tour right down Hampton.
You got
Oh, I think we think bigger than that. Maybe we'll be on Jeremy's RV,
Get a bus.
but then we'll have a bus behind us of 50 people. But
50
we'd have to
people
really
pizza
coordinate
tour.
it so that the pizza places are ready. The pizza is sitting there on a table. It's hot the minute you get there.
That would be awesome.
Could
What
we,
do you
at
think?
the end
We
of
could
the
get
whole
people
thing,
on it. I mean,
could we
seriously,
rob
got
a
people
gas
that can
station?
coordinate
I'm trying
that.
to think of all the.
If we really want to keep
Yeah,
it
you
St.
want to do
Louis,
it?
he wants
and
to
at the
know.
end, we'll rob a gas station.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, that's the perfect ending for any big party.
Actually, I'm thinking we go a little more St. Louis and we carjack someone.
There you go.
Let's
There
keep
you
it local.
Get the catalytic
No,
converter.
I'm sorry. We are not. Oh,
We do not
price of
condone.
admission is a catalytic converter.
Okay.
We do not condone.
No, we do not.
carjacking.
We can't. We shouldn't make light of this.
Gas station robbery, maybe.
I feel like I must be enjoying this way more than anyone. Well,
Supermarket
Terry's doing
No,
a good job
I'm going
on
to go
his, too.
back. I'm sure. I
that,
just don't.
folks.
I want to make it.
I just letting you guys know that because
I'm
I don't
pacing
get.
myself.
I used to eat a ton of pizza, as most of you know. I don't eat it that much anymore for dietary reasons.
You think they all know?
Is this one of those?
Is that because your mom's the
no,
only
no.
person
It's
watching?
it's because it's like
He
seven
doesn't want it
people.
to go to waste.
Remember
you know?
that my
No,
doctor says I swallow a lot of
you-
aggression
you may be
along
shocked.
with a lot of pizzas.
Right, you may be shocked, but there are people out there, and they do track my up and down
Yeah.
on the weight. But I'll just say this: this is really good pizza.
Do you know what movie
I've
that's
enjoyed
from?
every single. Yes, except it's not coming to mind right now. But I the second you said it, I recognized it.
What?
That business about I swallowed a lot of aggression and a lot of. What did he say? Pizza?
Yeah.
Or what was it? What movie was that from?
That's John Candy and Stripes.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Sitting around talking to the guys.
Well, I didn't believe any of us made that up.
No. But anyway, be that as it may, this is really good pizza. Tony Bono's. How do you like that? And
Yeah,
Brody,
they're
how
great.
was their? Well, we had their meatball sandwich too. That was pretty good. Although I got to say that as a meatball sandwich, it was good, but there's a lot of good meatball sandwiches. If I was going back there, it would definitely be for these pizzas.
Yeah, I'm a hot sandwich guy.
We talk about that. Andy and I, we've decided, right, conclusively that a hot sandwich will always beat a cold sandwich.
Yeah.
Like a great hot sandwich will always be better than a great cold
He's
sandwich.
like,
I'm not saying that a great cold sandwich wouldn't knock out a good hot sandwich.
I have my favorite.
But
My
a
wife
great
has her
hot is
favorite.
always better than a great cold.
What's a great
No
cold
one has
sandwich?
proved that theory wrong.
The Sicilian at Blue City Deli is probably, I think, the best cold sandwich in St. Louis. That's a really good cold sandwich.
But it's a mixture of a lot
all
of
the meats.
Yeah, I don't.
of course.
I don't like that.
okay.
What is this nonsense?
This is their
Hold
margarita.
on. I need one more. Here's what I'm going to do.
Oh, I can assure you, I've had this slice at least 10
Who
times.
needs-
Terry needs.
So there's no great California pizza?
I'm aware of. I actually visited California a couple months ago, and I should have made a video of going to a California pizza kitchen as a joke, like, here I am in California, authentic California pizza. Just to have people like, excuse me, no, it's not.
Yeah, it's like going to Sbarro.
I did a video on Sbarro because they have it in the mall now. And they brought it back to the mall.
I
and
did not
didn't
realize
know.
that.
At the Galleria.
At the Galleria. I didn't know.
Wow.
And someone said, oh, you're going to go to Sbarro's. I thought it was a joke. And I'm like, okay, I got to go. And I knew people would get the joke. Some people didn't, because I'm like, oh, good New York pizza is back in St. Louis. And everyone thought it was a marketing ploy for La Pizza, that's
Right.
New York pizza.
Yeah.
Because everybody was tagging them in. No, if you want, good New York pizza in St. Louis, you go to La Pizza. So people
La
thought
Pizza is good.
I worked for them because they just kept getting tagged in it. And I'm like, no, just that's where you get good
Was
pizza.
Sbarro ever like an individual small? It had to have been,
I
right?
think so, because you actually get it in New York.
Everyone jokes about it, but they built a pizza empire.
Yeah.
Say what you will.
I
But
see it
so
this
did a
way.
lot of fast food.
Yeah, and it's not easy to build an empire.
No,
They did, but it's not the best version of that type of cuisine. generally.
never is.
but I grew up in the Metro East. There's not a lot of places I could go to watch people make pizza. So when I would go to the mall, I could literally see them throwing the dough and making the pizza. So people can say what they want about Sbarro's, but it was fresh. I give them that.
Well, what's interesting about Sbarro, and it's like a lot of places, the difference between them having the pizza they have and great pizza is really the training.
Slowing down hard.
I think you could have taken the ingredients at Sbarro. If you have a great pizza maker, you could just walk them into a Sbarro, and I think they could make you a great pizza. I think I could go into a Sbarro and make you a great pizza.
You think?
Wow.
I mean,
I do.
Wow.
I
let's
absolutely
see
do.
what was Sbarro's, put them in there.
All right, now I'm slowing down, man.
The only thing I may need to do is bring my own sauce. That's really the only thing that'll hold you back.
The walls are closing in on me, man.
Yeah, you got to get it in quick.
At least we're on just thin
Is the
crust now.
nausea returning?
Is there like a little red wine
I'll let you know, but
in the sauce, or are those tomatoes?
You're becoming
It
like
is
a wine
it's a tomato
connoisseur.
basil. It's their version of margarita, so it's
Is
not.
it a
It's
little
not red
oaky?
sauce.
No, it
Are
had
you
like
a-
almost a red wine flavor.
Maybe because it's not a red sauce. I think they use like olive oil.
It must just be the tomato.
Did you notice
is that
it?
all the food? I hope. What?
No.
Oh, we
have
forgot about the
2
whole
more,
thing.
3 more pizzas.
Yeah, because we also have.
Well,
now,
that last one
Well,
was from
what?
Uncle Leo's.
Oh no, we didn't. Then we didn't set it up correctly.
Oh,
because
Set it up.
we asked.
Yeah,
well,
all
set it
this
up
is-
now.
yeah,
We'll
Tony
fix it
Bono.
in post.
We were featuring Tony Bono's.
Yeah. Now we're
But-
fixing. Now let's move to Uncle Leo's. We'll fix it.
Right,
in post.
Uncle Leo's,
Failoni's.
which is Failoni's.
Bologna. Yeah.
Oh.
It's 2 brothers that run it.
Yeah,
So-
I didn't realize they
Yeah.
had changed
Sure.
the name of their pizza to Uncle
No,
Leo's.
it's 2 different pizza places.
Wait.
So
What's happening?
Failoni's is in on
Yeah.
Manchester,
Hand me that extra.
and Uncle Leo's
Napkin,
is
will
in
you?
South County.
Okay.
Same family. Same
Okay,
pizza.
so it is the same family. Okay.
that's
Have you
why
ever been
the
to
box you'll
Failoni's? I haven't been there in a long time. Do they still have their Friday night?
Thursday nights.
Was it
The singing.
Thursday
The
night?
dancing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But you
Playing
guys would
karaoke.
sing?
Yeah.
Apparently Joey is really good at singing.
No, you know who was
Alex.
Alex, who died. I remember
He
the
died?
first time, Alex died.
Wait, which one?
He was the one who always
was the
sang.
singer, yeah.
But there were two guys.
I didn't know. Well, yeah, there were two brothers.
He
I did
died
not
4 or
realize.
5 years ago.
Oh, I knew he was sick. I
was
did
a
not realize he
wonderful
passed
man.
away.
Nice
Man,
guy.
that's sad.
I loved it over there. I haven't gone in years, but the last
It's a
time I went,
fun
I took
place.
my mom with me.
She'd
She
love
had
it.
certain. I mean, we love that kind of music. We have a great time over there. I didn't even
fun.
know they did pizza.
Yeah.
Now the reason we're
Started
bringing
about 10
in
years ago, maybe.
the reason you brought in Failoni's is the one question I know everybody out there is going to want to ask Mr. PizzaBabble himself is, what's your favorite pizza? If you had to pick one, what would be your one? And that's what we posed to you, and that's why you brought that, right?
Yep. And
So this is your favorite pizza in
This is
St.
it.
Louis.
yep.
So have we
And
tried?
ironically, this is actually the pizza that I was like, this is my number one, is their margarita.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
I'm going
you
to take
know,
another bite.
everybody has a taste that they like. And those
Yeah.
are, by the way, anybody who wants to go and have a lot of fun, go to Failoni's.
Failoni's on
I mean,
Thursday night.
I remember walking in there for lunch
It's a
one
great
day,
time.
and a guy they're playing Frank Sinatra record.
Mm-hmm.
And I look, and the guy serving drinks, the bartender, has a microphone, and I don't know what apparently Alex Failoni had a beautiful voice and would draw beers and be singing a million Frank Sinatra songs. The mother sings, Mrs. Failoni.
Now, her I never heard sing, just the two guys.
No, they're great. They're wonderful
But
people.
they were doing all the
food.
great Dean Martin stuff and
Yeah.
the Sinatra stuff, and even a little opera thrown in there. I remember one time he did a little Nessun Dorma, which was impressive. Guys, you think people remember that we're not just guys eating sandwiches, but we're actually a law firm that handles injury cases?
You think the podcast has gotten so big, they forgot about our roots.
Have they forgotten about this man, 45 years on the television, telling people that we don't get paid unless you get paid? Do you think they know that?
Tell them.
We don't get paid if you don't get paid.
There you go. You've been hurt? Call us. Now back to the podcast.
Yeah, I covered their pizza place about a year ago. It's been a while.
Is it still exciting when you go to a place you've never been to and you're like, I've had 117 pizzas for Christ's sake, and you get one that really is special and surprises you?
Yes.
Do you still get the juice?
Yeah, because every once in a while somebody will ask me, "Oh, have you been here?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, how was the pizza? And they're like, "I don't remember," which tells you it wasn't bad, it wasn't good, it was just pizza.
Yeah.
Have you ever had an unedible pizza?
Yes,
Really?
yes.
Talk about what made it inedible.
I have a picture of it. You could see how bad it was. It's Fletcher's in Swansea. Maybe it was just a bad day for them, but on their menu it says crackling crust. It was bad.
I'm sure
the
it was
bottom
just
was
a bad
covered
day.
in burnt
This
dough.
does
burnt
not
flour.
bode well. Fletcher's, get your act together.
Yeah, maybe it was just a bad day.
But is
All right,
that
maybe
like,
it was, and
is
maybe
that
they
like-
suck.
But
Somebody's got to be at the bottom.
Yeah,
It's apparently very rare to get such a pizza.
yeah.
I mean,
Because so far it hasn't been any I don't like the taste of it. It's pizza. I think the only one that I just didn't like certain of the taste, and it's the only one that the sauce is, to me, the sauces are all kind of the same. Unless it's like a little spicy or sweet.
I watched your review of that very bad pizza. Was it Altoona? And it was with American cheese
yeah.
and sauce. And while I watched it, I thought, of course, it looked terrible. But I couldn't help but remember making English muffin pizzas like when you were in elementary
It
school.
looks like struggle pizza.
Yeah, you take an English muffin with a little bit of spaghetti sauce and one slice of American cheese. You put it in the toaster oven.
Yeah.
It didn't taste like pizza, but whatever it did taste like was
Wasn't
okay.
bad.
It kind of tasted like a grilled cheese dipped in a tomato soup. So maybe that's the angle Altoona you think was going for?
I think so. But I mean, people, how people, St. Louis style is the worst. I'm like, no, there are much
There are
worse.
worse.
There are
You
worse.
don't get pizza bagels in a restaurant much.
No, remember when
is
those
that
came out? Lender's
used to
Pizza
make
Bagels.
those.
Yeah, you
for you.
did, but I feel like that was
here
a
we go.
very
Here we go.
No, I'm not.
is this?
And
This doesn't
no
look good.
This is their chicken delight. I
indictment
believe
of
it
you
is.
at all.
It looked like mushroom.
But
Oh,
I
that's-
feel like
maybe that's
pizza
chicken. Oh, it's
bagels
got mushroom on
in
there.
the
You said you don't like
80s were
mushroom.
probably almost exclusively homemade in Jewish homes,
Hey, new restaurant idea.
right? Yeah, maybe.
I think
I
there's a-
wonder how much of the success of pizza is the fact that cold pizza is so good.
I'm surprised it's never on a menu.
You know what I mean? Every time I've eaten cold pizza, I just love it.
Yeah.
I think there's probably something to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different little take on the same food.
I don't remember where you get it. It's a style of pizza, but they put cold mozzarella. I can't remember.
I've seen
name.
that.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Jersey, maybe. Or,
I think so. And it's just your regular pizza, and then they throw
Pennsylvania.
cold mozzarella on
Does
it.
anybody make them with Parmesan?
no.
I think Parmesan
be
is
strong.
as the primary cheese.
Ooh,
yeah,
that
I
would
think
be
it's the
strong.
tastiest of all the cheese. I think mozzarella just doesn't have much taste.
That would not, but it doesn't like melt right. I mean, that would not be a pizza you'd want to eat.
I
You
don't
take
know.
a bite, and you'd be, whew.
Yeah.
But Asiago cheese, I could see them using a little melted Asiago.
I don't know.
Crisp on
There's
top.
a couple pizza places around here that
Here's the problem.
That was
a
my
couple
last
different
bite,
ones.
by the way. I'm done.
I
I've
like
hit
New
the wall.
York pizza.
I'm going to die.
Just put your head.
All of this is great.
I mean, seriously.
But to me, if I could have the best slice I'm going to get is a very good New York slice.
Oh, what about pineapple?
Oh, yeah, I like pineapple.
Not for me. I mean, it's not bad.
To me,
But isn't that very controversial in pizza?
I don't think it's as controversial as people think.
It's not as controversial as anchovies.
No.
Too much.
Do we have is the last pizza in the oven?
Oh, Lord.
Nah, come on, Brody.
You can do it.
Because you went too hard, too fast.
I was the candle that burned too bright, lasted half as long.
You were the guy who starts a marathon too strong.
He's the one. It's a marathon, and he's sprinting.
Yeah, that's
as soon as
right.
They start.
I'm on
and then-
mile 6 and I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what?
He's
Elton
in a porta
John
potty
is
on
going
mile
to
5. Just
redo that song now for you.
Which one? I'm still
You know,
standing. I'm no longer
no,
standing.
the one for Diana.
Well, okay.
You know,
man, but good to use you for a pizza challenge.
are there many pizza challenge? What's
Not
the
really.
great big giant one?
That's
Mr. X?
Pointers.
Pointosaurus.
Have you ever done it?
I did it a couple weeks ago. So
Come on. Did you win?
No. So little shout out to them because they're really cool guys. They're called 3 Fat Guys. They're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
That was going to
And
be
it's
our
just
original thing, remember?
3 fat
Three
guys.
fat Jews eating
They go to
sandwiches was the
restaurants
original.
And they eat in the car. So I wanted to
true.
do the pizza challenge, but the challenge itself is 2 people.
Yeah.
Me and I don't care who the other person is. I'm not going to finish it. So it was 4 of us.
Okay.
And so this is like a personal challenge. Like, can we get it done with 4 of us?
That's still
We
tough.
couldn't
Yeah.
because their dough is just so thick.
How big is it? Isn't it like a
28
yard?
inches.
I think
10
it's
pounds.
30 something. I think it may be 30.
Yeah, they told me it
it's
was 28
big.
inches and 10 pounds.
Yeah, and there's only one person I know.
it was-
I don't know who the teammate is, but Joe Glinius could 100% in his prime have putting down 60% of that pizza.
You know what's interesting? You don't see a lot of real fat people doing competitive eating.
No, you have to be in good shape.
I think so.
There was a little Asian girl who does competitive eating, really skinny. She did that challenge by herself
Brody,
The Pointosaurus?
Yes.
all 9
No.
in about 28 minutes. And you get an hour.
No.
Oh, there's a
You're
YouTube.
telling me
Yeah.
one human
Yeah.
ate an entire Pointosaurus?
Yep.
If you haven't seen a Pointosaurus, you can't even go pick it up in a normal car.
No.
It's enormous.
It
You have
is-
to walk out like this.
Yeah,
Holding it.
It is wild. That one, I don't believe it. I got to see the YouTube video, and I'd like to meet her. I'm going to wear like some sort of
Ooh, let's
protective
get
clothing.
her on the show.
I don't remember her name.
We'll find her,
Yeah.
or you find us. I just want to see you eat. I want to see maybe her and Joe
For all
Glinius.
of you out there watching, could you find this woman and bring her in?
Oh yeah, look, there are guys on the internet. That's all they do is they
Yeah,
try
she's
to.
not
It's
from
usually
St.
people
Louis. She
that have
just
like
Goes to
done horrible
food
things,
challenges,
and you need
that's
to
what she
find them
does.
so you can get them
Did do a
fired.
horrible
It's
thing.
been
Can you
years
imagine
that
what her
she's done
bowels look like?
I'm gonna stare at her bowels.
Come on, one more,
I can't
one
do
more,
anything.
champ.
Not a chance.
Stephen, I got a piece over here for you.
Oh my lord.
I know you were excited.
New York pizza is La Pizza. That's my favorite New York pizza in
Yep.
St. Louis. You like Racanelli's? That's been on near the top
It's
of
okay.
your list.
It's okay. With mine, I'm a pie guy.
Have you been out to Pizzarelli's out in Ellisville?
Not yet. That's what
They used to have good New York
my whole
pizza.
thing is. I haven't really branched out to a lot of West County.
Yeah, you haven't
and
done
St. Charles.
Ferracci's either, have you?
I've done Ferracci's, but I did the one in Ferguson.
Okay, because there's one out in Ellisville.
Everyone has told me like, oh no, the one over here is better, but everyone's like, it's the exact same. They use the exact same ingredients.
Exact same. They
If
just
you had to do another food, what would you do? Let's say you do them all, and people say he's done everything here. Now you want to do another food. What would you do?
Toasted ravioli, but someone's already doing it.
How about chicken wings? Somebody must
Probably
be
chicken
doing
wings. I can't do sandwiches.
I'm way too picky when it comes to wings that I wouldn't want to, because a lot of them I could tell just by looking at them, I don't want to eat them.
Yeah.
I don't like them fatty.
Those would be the ones where
And
I don't like them big.
You don't like chicken strips or chicken nuggets?
I love those.
I mean, to me, they're the
That's the
perfect
perfect food.
Well, at
It's
least with
the
chicken
perfect-
wings, I could probably
it's
walk
the
in like, hey, how much
perfect
can I
chew.
just buy
It is
one wing?
perfect.
I don't
just wanna
like
do
the
it- I just want one
gristle
wing.
and
Yeah, I'm with you.
And I would go to every place.
And I
just
don't
want
like the
your
skin.
Classic buffalo.
Yeah.
Especially when you can see the little marks
What are you pointing to?
This is a meat lover's pizza here.
from where?
Same. We're still at Uncle Julio's. What is it? Uncle Leo's.
Uncle Jew.
Uncle Julio's. Uncle Leo's.
Baloney's.
Here, somebody want.
Baloney's.
Well, Uncle Leo's. But do they call it Uncle Leo's
that's
or they
two-
call it
two separate
Failoni's?
restaurants.
Right.
Yeah.
But the pizzas
Well, no, the
are not
boxes say
identical?
Uncle Leo's.
It's because the one side says Filoni's, one side says Uncle Leo's.
Wait,
Oh, it
but-
does.
Yeah, because they use just use
But
the same
it's
box.
they're
Got it.
different pieces?
No, they're the
Same family, same pizza. It's
Family,
just
same
two
pizza.
separate restaurants.
It's basically two locations of the same restaurant. Am I getting this? Two locations of the same restaurant with different names.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Uncle
but
Leo's, it's more carry out.
that wasn't
They have
that-
like one or two tables.
it wasn't that complicated. No. Two restaurants.
And he's coming up with Uncle
same food?
Julio's.
That could be your next thing for you.
There we go.
You know what would be a good one? It's because they have it everywhere. And I think it's something that people think is easy and it's all good, but it's not. Spaghetti and meatballs.
I don't think I've ever ordered spaghetti and meatballs at a restaurant.
Really?
Looking for the perfect.
Yeah, I
meatball
feel
is a
like
good
often
quest.
that's where I start. Because, yeah,
I'm a
that's
lasagna
where you
guy.
start with an Italian restaurant. Because I don't want to see how you get to complex things before I see how you do with spaghetti
That's true.
and meatballs. Because if you can't do that, you can't do the rest.
Can't do it. You could say that maybe about the lasagna. Bread, I agree that the quality of the bread is a good indicator, but a lot of them get their bread elsewhere.
Pasta would be a cool thing to do.
I like
on the hill
a
itself.
heated bread with sesame seeds on it. To get
Here's
that
my
nuttiness.
complaint about people in St. Louis, the way they cook Italian food.
Oh,
One minor adjustment could change many restaurants in this city.
Let's hear it.
Garlic.
No, set a timer. That's it. Just set a timer. Just cook the pasta for the length of time it is supposed to be cooked.
Why? What do you think?
you need some mushy pasta?
Yes, it's not necessarily
I like
that
it
it's
a little al
overly
dente.
mushy. That's right. That is how it is. That's how it should be served.
It should.
No, I
That's
have
right.
not gotten
To the
any
tooth.
bad pasta on the hill.
To the tooth.
So far.
I'm not naming any names. I'm not saying anything.
I'm eating a lot. and
I have had
I need this
drinking
to
a lot,
be.
is what
well,
I have had a pasta.
No, I'm
I
not.
had a lasagna.
I don't know where he's
that was
keeping it
soup.
all.
in my
Like literally soup.
bladder. I mean,
Yeah.
They
Where
cooked
else?
it. It was cold in the middle. They took it back. They brought it back. It was literal like soup. And I tried to tell the server, I'm like, yeah, and I took a spoon. I'm like, this looks like ice cream. She's, I am so sorry. And I'm
Sometimes, though, here's what I feel like happens when you do that. I've had this happen a lot. It happened recently, and I won't name names. There was a food item that my wife has had many times and really enjoys it from one particular location.
can you even say that?
I'm not saying anything.
Wow.
I don't want to identify anybody. And they serve it. And it is clearly undercooked. And the texture and the cooking is an important part of this particular food item.
Ah, clue.
And she says, I'm sorry, these are just undercooked. And you know, they're just not good. I mean, she said it very nice, very polite. And because they
threw the
noticed she
hell out of
wasn't
there.
eating it, they said, oh, we'll remake them for you, no problem. And this is where I think it happens all the time. They bring them back and they are like they went through a car fire. They were black, burnt to a crisp. oh, I hope this is better. No, of course this is not better. This is inedible. It is punitive. You know damn well that is not what she was asking for.
been holding
and
this
I
in.
feel like sometimes you get that when you send food back. It's like, hey, I asked for this.
They're pissed.
Medium, and this is like red as can be, this steak. It comes back and it is like,
hockey
it's
puck.
like, yes, exactly. You know, and I think that is
Not a fine restaurant.
Okay, but
but here's what I'm getting to. The most difficult thing, and this is the thing I was getting to at Sbarro. The most difficult thing, the most impressive thing I see in restaurants, and I will give Kevin Nashin a shout out. There are many others, but Peacemaker is one of the restaurants I think that is the best at this. No matter what you get there, no matter when you get it, it is identical every time. And the inconsistency that you get in many restaurants, and it's so hard, you see how it happens, but to have consistent food so it tastes the same and it's great every time seems to be virtually impossible.
that's the most important thing.
But,
It is.
But think about it. Our business is exactly the same way.
I would argue that it may be easier for us to
Well,
be
no, but
consistent
to be-
than a restaurant.
But to keep something at a high level
Yeah.
over and over for years to a large group of people, that's the key
But think
to a
about
lot
what
of
I'm saying.
businesses.
I'm not just saying a high level. They're doing it at a high level the exact same way. We could do an outstanding job on every case and it's perfect and people are thrilled. And it wouldn't matter if it was done differently by each person.
No,
At the restaurant, everybody who touches it has to do everything identically.
Can I reflect for
That's
a
right.
moment on
Reflect.
on this business about the vindictiveness of a restaurant who you ask it to be cooked a little bit more, they burn it. There are actually two famous stories
Yeah.
where an act of vindictiveness actually created a tremendous breakthrough in the food world.
Let me guess. The food that built America?
One of them, and you could look this up, but when potato chips were first invented, so the story goes that a customer had asked for thinly sliced potatoes to be fried, and he kept sending them back because they weren't thin enough. Finally, a very aggravated chef, half jokingly, sliced the potatoes so ridiculously thin that it was well beyond whatever the person could have been asking for, and fried them up, threw them on a plate, and said, "Here you go. Are these thin enough for you?" Vindictively. And in that moment, he invented potato chips.
Nice.
And the other one was our hamburger patty. It was the guy who owned White Castle in Wichita in the early 1900s. Back then, hamburgers were like the shape of a meatball. They weren't in the shape of a patty. And the laborers who would go during their lunch, they needed their food very fast. They kept complaining it was taking too long. And out of aggravation, the guy at the White Castle took his spatula and said, "You want it to cook faster? Here." And he mashed it down real flat like a patty, and it cooked faster. And all of a sudden he was like, "That's how I should be doing
So hamburgers
all of these."
were like meatballs?
They were like little meatballs.
Huh. I mean, and you've said many
1913.
times hamburgers or meatballs shouldn't be balls because they roll off the bun.
They roll off.
Where did we have a great meatball sandwich that was a kind of flattened meatball and it worked very well?
Bubba's.
Bubba's?
No, Adriana's does flat.
Yeah.
Bubba's,
They kind of do it flatter.
You know what's
yeah,
interesting?
they're not perfectly round.
Would you imagine that California does not have a White Castle?
It doesn't surprise me. Did you tell it? Because
I think
well, and he knows too. White Castle is not a chain. It's not a franchise. They're all corporate.
What I'm
owned.
saying, though,
the closest one, like if you had in
they invented
West is-
sliders, right?
They did. They
Louis,
invented
I
the
think.
hamburger as
But
we know
wouldn't you
it.
think that Los Angeles would be a perfect
Los Angeles, California.
place? Wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
No, but In-N-Out Burger is not a White Castle.
a slider.
LA
There's-
has something that needs
there's
to
They
be
do have them in the
Crystal.
freezer case.
There's Crystal, which is the same thing in
They
the
don't have
South.
that in LA, do they?
No, they don't have either one. I'm
No,
shocked.
but nationwide, you can get White Castle crave cases in the freezer case.
But also-
that changed their business. You know, they make about half their revenue on their frozen
But California,
burgers.
I think probably the reason is California had a real kind of car and like hamburger culture that probably went hand in
McDonald's
hand back in the day, probably the kind of
originated
hamburger
there.
places you'd see in Happy Days where you'd roll up and
San
roll up.
Bernardino.
Yeah, but late night eating, why
Well, but
can't-
I think they have that.
Yeah.
It was
They
just,
still have that.
there are a lot of
In-N-Out,
hamburger places.
As soon as they open, it's
Oh,
packed.
Eddie, come on,
Stop.
open
Even
up.
showing it to me might cause me to vomit.
Choo-choo train.
Do you want that? We've already had it. I passed it back to you. We
did
already
you?
had
Oh,
it.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, when I went to
Oh my
California a couple
God.
months ago, there was
Well,
one thing I
man's
wanted,
sick.
and it wasn't pizza.
what's that?
Del Taco.
Oh, man.
We used to have that
Man,
here.
I missed Del Taco.
Isn't that
What
the
we used
place?
to have is Noggles.
Oh, we don't have that.
Noggles then became Del Taco. It wasn't quite the same, but it was very similar.
We had a couple of Del Tacos here. They're all gone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't the place on McCausland, wasn't that a Del Taco?
That was Del Taco before his high point. That was where I had my only car accident. It was right there. Some gal was coming on McCausland, and she was going to make a left in front of me to go into the parking lot to get onto the drive-through line at Del Taco. But what she didn't factor in was that the drive-through line was so long that there was no room for her car in their parking lot. So she just makes a left right in front of me and stops short. There's nowhere to go. I just plow right into her.
Man, imagine getting in a car accident and you hit a lawyer.
That's it. Well, lucky for her, I was not a lawyer yet. I was just in law school. Yeah, I had just seen the movie Twister.
Were you hurt?
Is that hamburger? That might be hamburger on that
be.
one, which you don't get much of.
I don't like it. I think it's a bullshit play. I think when they use hamburger, it's because they were too lazy to make a meatball and slice it up.
Sometimes I like ham. Oh, I don't think so.
It is.
I
It's
think
just ground beef then. It's nothing.
Right, but it's a sausage substitute.
You know,
Have you ever done
Sausage has a
Panteras?
lot of flavor.
I like
Yes.
Canadian bacon.
I joke
That's good.
salty.
that
Delicious.
Panteras Pizza is every Gen
Which
Xer's
tastes like
favorite
ham.
place.
Right. Have you
Because-
been to, you remember Pantera's Pizza?
Yeah.
You know, there's still one or two open.
Yeah.
And are they the same as they were when it was a thriving chain?
You look around and you're like, this place has not changed since 84.
Really?
And I made the joke of Gen Xers, if you bring up Panteras, man, this was the place back in 84. Yeah.
Great year. Great year.
I don't know. Granted, I cannot eat Panteras. Their sauce, I don't know, something's in the sauce, and it just turns my stomach. I wish you could get more different choices. Like if they had like a barbecue sauce base, you can't. They have the taco pizza, which is it's okay.
Have you had Uno Pizzeria Uno in
there any of those
Chicago?
Yeah.
There was, not anymore.
I don't know if the chains are still there. I bet
I'll tell you,
the
you
can buy the
Chicago
frozen
one.
one.
When we went up there, I don't know if you remember, we went up there and went into either Uno or Due, whatever it was. And I thought it was the best pizza I ever had. It was
Due
I
is still
have my
there, and
list
it's
for
great.
Chicago. I plan on visiting Chicago soon. I'm going to Indianapolis in August. They have a pizza festival out there. I'm going to Kansas City.
That's a nice city, Indianapolis.
I'd like to do.
Kansas City, there's a pizza place that's really well known. Where's that, Brody? What's the name of it? That Stretch? Because he's a huge internet presence. Stretch. What's the name of that place? Is it Grinders?
Yes, grinders.
Grinders.
Oh, yeah, I've heard Grinders, yeah.
Okay, yeah. You got to go out there in Kansas City. Ask for
Ironically-
Stretch. He'll come on and do something with you. He's a real personality.
Ironically, Uncle Leo's and Failoni's started in Kansas City. So there's a place called Leo's. So their actual Uncle Leo is actually from Kansas City.
Wow.
Oh, really?
So I think the brothers, I think the story is they went out there for college.
Okay.
And Failoni's has been a bar forever. I think they're the oldest running bar in St. Louis right now.
Probably.
I think
Close to it.
the Lemp family used to own the bar. That's how it tells you how old that building is. So when they went to college, they would work at his place. So they're like, oh, hey, I want to bring your pizza to St. Louis. So they started making it in Failoni's, and then they decided, oh, let's open Uncle Leo's. So I kind of want to go to Kansas City just to get that original taste.
It's interesting, the cities. My wife is from the Quad Cities, and you
Aren't
wouldn't
there a
think of
bunch
it
of
as a
quads,
big pizza city,
could you
a
be
place
from
like
four
that.
places?
But it's surprising. There are a
Well, there are
lot
four cities,
of
but there must
small
be a lot of
local
small
pizza
borderland.
places there that are actually pretty good. I would say maybe the Quad Cities, and I am going to get killed for this, might be a better pizza city than St. Louis.
What?
In terms of the bunch
And then
of
a bullet
unique,
came through the window.
because here's the thing: here we have a lot of pizza places,
They got no
but most of
Italians.
them
We got the
are not
Italians.
just pizza places where it's pizza forward, pizza first. You know, they also have pizza. They may have great pizza, but it's not necessarily a pizza place. And they have a lot of just independent,
Does this
decent
match up with
pizza
your
places.
you're in your pizza babble? We have a lot of pizza forward places.
It's hard for me to describe because I haven't been in Chicago for pizza. I need to go to other large cities and
You have
compare
just
them.
started in this career.
But when you think about it,
He's
even
only
our
35.
hill, even the
him
hill,
in his infancy.
how many
We'll see him
actual
when he's
pizza places are
85.
there?
1.
9 bypasses.
Who?
Pizzeria de
Emos?
Gloria. No, I believe, is there even Emos on it?
No, actually, there's not.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
don't
there's
think, right?
Pizzeria de Gloria.
Yeah.
And
Pieces
Guido's.
of meatball.
Everything else is an Italian restaurant that has pizza.
I know it's Guido's Pizzeria, but if you go to
I give
Guido's,
it them just because of the name.
I mean, that's the only reason they're getting it,
But
because
Pizzeria de
otherwise,
Gloria is really the only one.
and I don't mean to say anything
We're going to
negative.
get Nicky Slices.
Guido's has
Nicky Slices.
great food. The only reason I have to give it to him is because it's Guido's Pizzeria. But the reality is
an
they're
Italian
much
restaurant.
like every other place.
Yeah.
The pizza is not the focus of the restaurant. It's great, but all the food there is great.
Yeah.
What restaurant?
Guido's.
I haven't been
It's
there.
called Guido's Pizzeria, I think.
Yeah, it's
and so
right
you
that
gotta,
way.
if
Well,
they
right
call
up there-
themselves
right
a
up there,
pizzeria,
right?
you got to give it to them.
Right up there.
Italian and Spanish, I believe.
Yeah, it's right up here.
Are we
but
two
but
blocks?
really, it's
Everybody loves that place.
it's Pizzeria de Gloria and soon Nicky Slices. Really, those are pizza places.
Which, if you guys want to guess, you get him on here.
Nicky?
When he opens that place, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or just get one of them on when he does them on Instagram.
Is there any food go with pizza?
Wings, any kind of
Well, it's a
appetizers.
complete.
It really depends on the pizza
meal.
too.
You can get all 4 food
a
groups on
complete-
there.
You can get a
in and of
potato
itself,
on
no
a
And it really
pizza?
depends on the pizza too. So if it's like a St. Louis style
Absolutely.
pizza,
You can get a
toast
potato on a
ravioli,
pizza?
mozzarella sticks, wings.
Can
Those
you
are
get
the
a
three.
potato on
You
a
can
pizza?
absolutely get
Yes.
potato on pizza.
So,
I like potato
Speaking of
on
Nicky
pizza.
Slices, he does his standard, like if you want a cheese, a pepperoni, and then each week he does something crazy, and you think this ain't gonna work. And I had one, and it was like a garlic sauce, and it was potato and bacon and chicken. It's like a chicken bacon ranch. And then he gives you his ranch that he makes himself, and you drizzle on it, and it's just like thinly sliced potatoes.
Wait,
It was perfect.
Speaking of drizzling, I'll tell you what What? Oh, that's right. Speaking of drizzling, my favorite
Can you help hold them
pizza,
up?
my favorite pizza in St. Louis.
Wait, hold on. Let me give you a little compression.
Yeah, I see. He rises from the dead.
on,
Wait a
Ed,
second.
come on,
I've
He's
got
taking a snap again.
my favorite pizza. I like the hot honey cupped pepperoni pizza at O&O in Webster Groves. Those cupped pepperonis, and they're so crispy and perfect. And because they cup, they kind of go up. It holds little
Yeah,
drizzles
it's a
of hot
cupping
honey.
pepperoni, they call it.
Yeah, you drizzle the hot honey. They do it, and a little bit goes in each of those little pepperoni little cups.
It's delicious.
So delicious, so
That's-
good.
I have my favorite
you
styles
eat
of
one
pizza,
right now?
like toppings, depending
I
on the
wouldn't.
pizza, like St. Louis style, pepperoni and bacon. But if it's like a hand toss, if I'm able to get
Can I
it,
make
I
you
like the
throw up
cut
if I-
pepperoni and ricotta, and then
I
hot honey.
tried.
Yeah.
That's
You know
like
what's
a perfect
Pass me a
combination.
napkin.
You know
Pass
what's
me one of this.
great?
I
You
gotta
ever
blow my
get
nose.
like
I
a
gotta get some
lasagna
pizza out of me.
slice, New York style? That's a good slice.
Lasagna slice?
Yeah, it's got like sausage and ricotta.
This man may be dying here. Could somebody just
Right
call
at the end of the podcast,
a
you see him.
paramedic just to have him? It's like
Was there?
By
Was
the
there?
time this airs, it's gonna say
Yeah, R.I.P. Yeah.
memory.
I'm gonna send a picture of the Joey of him just.
Wait, get the. It's like
they're gonna be playing in the arms of
naked
the
and
angels.
afraid.
Yeah.
Bring in the medic to have
Yeah.
him look.
Was
at.
there a cornmeal crust on that first Bono's pizza we
Yeah.
had? I like a cornmeal
I like
crust.
a cornmeal
I will say,
crust very
I
much.
think the most famous with cornmeal in St. Louis is probably
I was.
pie was Mozzabellos.
Did they all close up?
They
on
do.
the-
I don't think there are any more pies.
No more pies.
What do you do? How does that happen?
How does that happen? It was so hot for a while. They had Obama
and then
behind them.
remember he was down in Florida
Yeah.
trying gonna.
It happens. You know, I'll tell you exactly how it happens. Consistency.
Yeah, that's true.
If it were, and it's impossible. And I've always thought this. I think we have a lot of restaurants in St. Louis, and it is really hard. Everyone I've ever spoken to, it's very, very difficult to staff the restaurants.
Yes,
And that's it.
that's been one of my big.
We don't have
things. I'll
enough
have
people.
A lot of older generation pizza owners that'll reach out to me, come visit, and like, yeah, we have to cut staff because we don't have the employees, and also we're not getting young people in here.
It seems like AI would be perfect for the pizza business. To have because you see these machines now that do a lot of cooking motions.
He wants the androids to make the pizza.
No,
you know what? Actually,
robotics.
where you are right is to create
like to hear this
systems.
the first time.
To create systems to do things identically every time. Like I just got a new coffee maker, and there is a button on it.
He's always getting a lot of new coffee makers.
You can just make coffee, but there's also a guided brew setting. You turn it on. How many ounces of coffee do you want? 18. Hit the button. You need to grind 27.3 grams of beans. You weigh it, you grind it, you put it in. Okay, now you need this setting on the water sprayer, depending on how many. And it's just like that. And it's identical
but you're
every
just
time.
One step from the machine actually doing all those little steps, because a machine could do all those steps.
But those are two different things. There's AI and then there's a robot.
Well, I'm talking about a robot.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, consistency in food preparation seemed like a place where a robotic solution would be just
It's used all the time. Most of our food is made by machines.
I
just wonder, could you get a robot? Because here's the equivalent that exists today, and I don't think it's good. Now, maybe it's just because they haven't trained the robot correctly, but robot coffee stands, like where you'll see a robot arm making a coffee, it's not very good coffee.
But why?
I don't know.
But so so it's not there yet.
I don't know.
There's not.
And some restaurants, they may not think that customers will spot it, but they will. Like, I make my sauce this way or this way. And you know what? I usually, if I make a big batch of my sauce, I do half a cup of sugar in the whole batch. But you know what? I'm going to start doing a fourth cup of sugar. And it's a whole batch that it's gallons of sauce.
Yeah.
Probably not going to change that much, but people will.
That's right. Here's the other thing.
You change your sauce, I can't go back now.
But here's the other thing. Why a robot can't do it, I think, because I suspect that there's some element of having to adjust, because the tomatoes that you get might taste slightly different. The garlic may be a little more garlicky. Right. And when you taste it, you've got to taste it.
Yeah, but
exactly.
you program the that's how it'll happen. You'll say, the potatoes, turn it up to 3 instead of 2.
Well, not like that. You don't have the robot to let me check the tomato, make sure there's nothing bad on it, or you're going to have some kind of human element to it.
Wait, I don't know, Jen.
Fruits, I got to check my vegetables.
Jen, I think, taught me this secret. Or did I teach you? You go to the grocery store and you take a picture of the big, massive box of watermelon. You send it to ChatGPT and you say, which one is the best watermelon? It will circle the one, defined by the color of the light spots and how many.
That's their algorithm. They have created.
And it seems to have worked.
I'm not saying I haven't used ChatGPT
to pick fruit.
Sounds like
no, just for pizza.
Yeah.
I use ChatGPT for ideas. Hey, what's a cool idea? I do this. And they gave me ideas. Oh, you should do this or that. I'm like, okay, that's about as far. Because I haven't done any kind of artwork or anything. I don't want to.
Let me ask you this. Is pizza bulletproof? In other words, one of the things that makes it so popular
will it be here in 100 years?
No. I think it will be, but
100%.
It's one of those foods that you've always been able to get delivered. All of our lifetimes, you could always get pizza delivery. But now with things like DoorDash, people can get any kind of food delivered. Has that made pizza vulnerable?
No. Because when you think about it, not every pizza. How many times would you want a Mexican restaurant delivered?
Just once a week.
Not really. Even then, if you did, everything's got to be separated.
Taco Tuesday.
It's really delivery.
I do not want a taco salad delivered because everything's got to be separate, and then I got a million containers.
It's very difficult.
Pizza delivers really well. That's one of the big advantages it has. It does deliver.
Chinese food. The question
food delivers very well.
Chinese food, yes, is very good for delivery.
How do they keep the heat?
I think
Chinese food is as hot as can be coming out of those little containers.
Because I think the ingredients, like rice, holds on to. It must be a very poor conductor of heat because it holds on to it, like tinfoil. You know how you can take a piece of tinfoil out of an oven that's 600 degrees with your bare hands and you're not going to get burnt. Try that with a handful of rice. Speaking of rice, you know that rice is actually a very dangerous food. to keep in the refrigerator for very long.
Because it'll explode.
No.
Bacteria?
It was a
Yes.
guess. It was
Apparently,
Mine was a guess too.
Especially if you have egg.
Right.
You got the
I think
right
there's something about rice where if you leave it out for more than like an hour, the way the bacteria propagates, you really shouldn't eat it after a day or so in the refrigerator.
Really?
You
Yes.
should keep it out.
What is your,
Well, depending on the
how
price.
late, how long will you go on Chinese food before you eat it? When would you throw it away?
Depends on the
How many
ingredients.
days?
24 hours.
Sure. How about fried rice?
A week.
Fried rice with what proteins?
Week.
Is there chicken in it?
Chicken, pork, and shrimp.
Scrimps? One day.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think you want to eat
Shrimp, I would be more careful about.
seafood after a day is probably like people put sushi, they'll come home from sushi dinner, put it in the fridge, eat it 2 days later. Fools playing with your lives.
Yeah, but you really think so?
Even having it
Yeah,
the first time.
Because
Even
I've
chicken,
eaten,
once the
Well,
chicken's
but
been
I've-
fried,
maybe I've been
you're
lucky.
limited on
Maybe
time.
That's right. That's like saying any dangerous activity, and I
I
did.
drove drunk going home.
That's right, and I didn't
And
die,
nothing
so it's
happened.
safe.
on tape saying that.
Take that clip of it.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Anyway, this was great, and I may do something I really rarely do. I may have one more piece of that first
Oh my God.
Bono's pizza. Well, you see my graveyard
And I
over
might do
here.
something I haven't done yet. I might go kill myself.
Well,
I'm dying
I
here.
would start with throwing up.
Drunk
And see where it
driving,
takes
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
himself.
Yeah, you can always kill
When's the
yourself.
last time you
That's
threw
true.
up?
That's true. It's been a while, and I throw up a lot, as you know.
Yeah, you're a
I haven't
puker.
thrown up at all since I had that sinus procedure
What do you
done.
think that is? Like, are you a puker?
No.
No. But do you know I know certain families with kids who they're always
Well,
throwing up.
kids throw up
I
much
threw
more.
up.
Not mine.
I threw up a lot
Well,
as a
much
kid.
more generally than
I think I threw up
adults.
a lot as a kid. I was a little fat kid overeating all the time. I had no regulator, and so I think I threw up a lot as a kid.
Yeah, my kids
Do you still
don't.
throw
None of
up?
us puke.
No, not really now. But of course, now I don't eat that much. That's why
That would be a
when I
bad
eat like
video
this,
if
it
I
hits me hard.
went to a pizza place and then
I don't know
I
the
threw
last
up later.
time.
I'm like, oh, I don't know if I
You
should
get a
post
lot
this,
of
but-
views.
You know,
Yeah.
I know a kid who did
people are
the
sick.
Pointers Challenge. I believe Kevin Shen, when he did the Pointers Challenge,
Is he
many.
the child you blinded?
Is he the one that threw up
No,
in the store?
Who was that?
He told me
blinded
about
a
that.
well,
child?
I don't actually know
I feel like
whatever
there's a
happened.
story there.
Yeah.
No, in football, in a practice, I think my hand
he
went
got his
through
hand
the
through his
face
face,
mask, and I
and he
didn't
caught
blind
his
him. I think
eye.
he had something happen to his eye. I don't remember.
Yeah, your finger went through it.
Kaku
I like
Kimura,
that.
if
Gee,
you
like,
are out
oh,
there,
something
I
happened to
hope
his
that you
eye.
are okay.
Yeah, no kidding.
He was a nice guy. I
Let's-
like
let's-
this.
Was the
Let's
eyeball
hear it
connected to the tip of your finger when you removed it from
Yeah.
the helmet? Because
Did you
that would
feel
really
like a
narrow
little
it
wiggle
down.
in?
Yeah, like a little cake pop.
Kaku's, let's a shout out to Kaku. I hope
Kaku
everything's
Kimura,
well.
I hope you're well. I suspect he's doing well. He
I
was a
bet he's
smart
probably
kid, nice
watching
kid.
with the millions of other people.
Wearing a patch,
Plotting against me.
getting his pirate
You
revenge.
see
No.
him on top of the roof, just sitting there watching
Yeah,
you.
Kevin Shen
Vengeance
was
will be
not him, but
I
I,
made
believe
a
Kevin did
mistake.
the Pointers Challenge and may have let some of it go on the curb just outside.
Okay, curb.
This is 20, 30 years ago.
Because they told me that somebody did throw up in the store.
Oh,
They didn't
I
make
think
it-
that happens all the time.
Which I've
The Pointers Challenge
Here you
is
go, lay down.
it's a
Wait,
you say
we're almost
28-inch
done. Yeah,
pizza,
28-inch,
which
10 pounds.
massive, 10 pounds. You
good.
have to have 2 meat toppings,
meat
right?
or 4 veggies.
Wait, hold it. Go on.
And if you
I got to be a little bit horizontal. The food is collected in my lower gut, and it has
we
nowhere
need to spread
go.
out.
But see, I'm going to a pizza place right
If
after
there's
this.
a hospital or a doctor watching,
Pointers
please
Challenge.
come to Brown and Crouppen as soon as
I know basic
possible.
CPR. That's about
we
it.
We have a medical emergency here at Brown and Crouppen. We're losing one of our dear.
He'll be okay. We'll be fine.
Hang on.
Either
Ed.
he'll be
We'll
okay
get you.
or we'll be okay without him.
It's for you people.
Yeah.
Just
Hold
say
his legs
hi.
up.
That's right.
If you
No,
you've
no,
been
I
injured in an accident.
don't talk. Don't talk.
Yeah.
Don't talk. Save your energy.
Anyway,
Oh, mine eyes have seen the glory
Anyway,
of the coming
Pointers
of
Challenge.
the Lord.
it is a 28-inch pizza. 2 meat toppings or 4 veggie toppings. 2 people
Wait,
must
hold on.
eat it in under 60
need to
minutes.
hear that.
If you do, you win $500.
I'm going to say this: John Morgan wouldn't do this.
Although I got to tell you, it's been $500 since like the 80s.
Yeah. And it's, I think,
Pointers on
Big Ben.
Big Ben.
Pizza is
Yeah.
five.
Wasn't it for sale not long ago?
I think so.
What did
Was
they
it
get-
sold?
Wait, what about $500?
Because one guy said he's been there forever.
They
If two
give you
people
$500?
eat the pizza
They give you-
with 2 meat toppings or 4 vegetable toppings within 60 minutes, you win $500.
Yeah, but every other challenge is you get a T-shirt or you get your picture on
I
the
get a
wall.
T-shirt too.
Look, they could give you $1,000, $10,000.
You don't think anybody's done it?
They have, but very few.
What they said, 52 in the past 36 years. You get 1 or 2 groups a year that does it.
Wow.
That's insane. Even
Yeah.
if I couldn't have come anywhere near that.
Before we go, I'd like to say a few words about Ed Herman.
Oh, you're going to eulogize him?
Yes.
Yeah,
He
that
was
would
a
be the
fine
time.
man. He told us that he was suffering, but did he stop? No, he did not stop. He was the consummate performer and professional. And he stayed here through thick and thin, occasionally making noises like he needed help, but then always covering it up and saying it was just a joke. And then we finished. Anyway, goodbye, Ed. I hope your spirit flies high. Oh, look.
Okay.
I'm
Bly,
seeing a very big white light.
yeah, go to it.
Yeah, go to it. Yeah.
But I think it's,
Yeah.
it's literally that light.
Oh, yeah. All right. I think we've said it all. We've done it all.
We've done it all. Oh, God.
This is great. How long have you been doing this? About 2 years?
Almost 2 years. I think I started my first videos were November, December of 2023.
You could have
And
gotten the MBA.
I think, man, I was shooting for like 50 pizza places in a year.
Yeah.
I don't want
And
to
then
undermine
once I
your
started
career,
going to places, and then the pizza place started recognizing me because they all like kind of know each other.
Yeah.
Then they're like, "Oh, would you like to come by and do this and that?" Because a lot of places nobody was talking about them. I had Montebello's. It's the oldest pizza place in St. Louis.
Anybody
that's
try
still
to give
running.
you a couple of bucks for a good review? A little, hey,
Not
a little,
yet, but I've
hit
gotten
me
a
little
lot of free
something.
pizza,
Oh, I
What
imagine.
is-
which I won't turn down.
The best,
Why would you?
Yeah.
the best pizza that most people in St. Louis have never heard of. It could, I don't know, Bono's could be it.
But I think Bono's.
Did you like that, Brody? Did you like that?
Because Montebello's, it's an acquired taste. It's not St. Louis style. They don't have Provel. I know a lot of people think they are St. Louis style. It is like tavern Chicago style because their ingredients, their recipe predates St. Louis style pizza.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It kind of is St. Louis style pizza,
Yeah.
some of those places, because there are a lot of those like sheet pan pizza places here that long predate St. Louis style.
Yeah.
They're sort of the original St. Louis style.
Sort of. Those
It's
are
a lighter-
mostly from the 60s.
Yeah.
And
They just keep
Luigi's was the first one to put Provel on their
Good
menu.
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
So,
an
and
important
that was
episode.
56, 57,
Wow.
I believe.
This man is a pizza
Can I
historian.
also
Yeah.
say that you were part of the Brown and Crouppen family?
That's right.
Yes.
Tom and Jill Taylor are your uncle and
No.
cousin?
Father and
Stepmother.
mother.
Yep.
Stepmother.
Oh, fathers! My goodness.
Yeah, this is very close. Brown and
Every once
Crouppen
in a while,
royalty.
I'll do a look, and I remember my mom like, "You look just like your dad."
Well,
Yeah.
that's not such
Roll
a
my
nice
eyes or
thing
something.
to say about
Oh.
you. You look like
Well,
a nice man.
Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Appreciate your knowledge. Appreciate what you do. And
I would appreciate a ride to the hospital.
yeah,
Bye, folks.
take care.